Living room conversation.
If you're live in a room, isn't it a living room?
Howdy everyone, my name is Ryan Nicodemus and I'm one half of the Minimalists. Welcome to another episode of Living Room Conversations. You are here in Los Angeles in my living room. We got a question today about addiction. Today's question comes from Lewis. Lewis writes in, have you had any serious addictions like gambling, smoking, drugs, or other addictions? And how did you overcome them? It's a really good question. Lewis, yes, I definitely had some addiction problems. I was hooked really bad on opiates when I started working for my dad. I was about 22 years old. I broke my thumb. The doctor prescribed me a couple bottles of Percocet. I went through those in 2 or 3 months and wanted more. So I went back to the doctor. He started to give me a little bit more. Eventually, he stopped giving me pills, and I had to find other ways to get them. But this went, I would say, off and on, but from like 22 to 28 years old, maybe 29 years old. I was dealing with this opiate addiction, and it wasn't until I was like 28, 29, and I started to have friends who were using heroin. It takes more than two hands for me to count how many people I know that have overdosed and or died from overdosing. So again, like I know more than 10 people who have overdosed, and some of those people have died. And I remember there's a certain point where I was really heavy into pills doing, God, it just depends on what kind of pill it was. I mean, like if it was something like a Vicodin, I could probably eat like 20 Vicodins in a day. I mean, it was ridiculous. But I got to a point where I ran out. I had to go find some more drugs, some more pills, and I couldn't find any. So I thought to myself, I'm like, well, you know, my other friends, they're doing heroin. And they say it's just like an opiate. And that's what I'm doing anyway. I'm doing opiates. So maybe I could do heroin. Oh, and the people that I know who have overdosed and who have died, well, they were injecting it. I won't inject it. I'll just snort it, and that'll be okay. This was the reasoning I was telling myself. And I just was able to catch myself in that thought and realize I had two choices right there. I could go down the road and go get some heroin, or I could go and get some help. So I decided to go get help. I first called my friends and family and told them, and my partner at the time, told all of them what was going on, what issues I had, and how I didn't know what to do to get off of it because the withdrawal was so bad. I just remember, I mean, when an opiate addict is going through withdrawal, I mean, me being an opiate addict who was going through withdrawal, I was reasoning with myself to do heroin. I mean, that is how bad the withdrawal is. I would never wish opiate withdrawal on like my worst enemy. It is so bad. So I went to a professional therapist who was able to get me on a rehabilitation program. It wasn't like actual rehab. It was more therapy combined with basically an opiate substitute that you would take to like not crave opiates essentially, which they did a great job of helping you not crave opiates, but there still is that very hard part of realizing who you are, what you want to do with your life, and facing the reality of the situation when pills did such a good job of pushing those questions aside and making you feel like you were already living an awesome life. For anyone out there who's dealing with addiction, you've got to tell your friends and your closest people to you. They have to know, and the reason why they have to know is because they are going to support you and they're going to help you. And if they do judge you, then don't hang out with those people. I mean, seriously. In fact, I did have a couple friends who I was talking about how I was going through this, this addiction and how it was really hard for me to not go out and party all the time. And some of them, kind of judged me. And it's not like I, said, screw you, I'm never talking to you again. I just simply stopped talking to those people. I stopped calling them. They stopped calling me. But you do have to get out there, and you do have to tell the closest people around you what's going on. In addition to that, you've got to go out and get some professional help. You got to have someone who is experienced in dealing with addiction and with getting people through the addiction. You've got to find someone who can help you do that. So again, if you're someone who is struggling with addiction, you have to have an amazing group of people around you, friends, family, professionals, to help you get through it. I hope this has helped you all. I hope you had as much fun as I did. If you leave here with just one message, I hope it's this: love people and use things, because the opposite never works. We'll see you next time.
The Minimalists.